Alright, good morning. It's July 5th, which is a Saturday. And it's a little bit later, so there will be some road noise, but I'm going to have to travel. And I had to travel last week, so we're doing this a little out of sorts. Start with my patio plants, a collection of cups that need to go out. Basil, the large leaf basil, doesn't seem to be particularly happy. Tradescantia, parsley, my little goth girl planter. We got celosia about to make some flowers. And coleus, angelonia back there. That's my little spud of flower. I don't know what she is. My midnight gold petunias. Chocolate mint seems to be doing okay. I really feel like I need to dig that up and give it some space, maybe divide it. This poor planter keeps drying out, even though I've watered it a lot. Part of the trick with me being out of town is that I did set up my irrigation system for the vegetable garden, but everything else didn't get water because I didn't ask anybody. Oh, don't forget these guys. Black crumbs in the planter, some chard. That chard looks like it's about to bolt. Lemon balm and some artemisia in there, some sweet wormwood, and my strawberry planter. My little nasturtium, I probably need to cut this back. It's got a little crazy. But yeah, everything dried out. We have some squash volunteering here. It's purple ball basil and a hyssop, I believe. I have some strawberries hanging on amidst the volunteer squash. But yeah, so hottest week of the year so far. I didn't ask my family to do supplemental watering, so things got a little dried out, but everything is fine. It just looked a little rough and ready. I probably need to take these guys off. It's the old fruit and it's trying to make new fruit. And so maybe they would just do better ripening on the counter. I can't believe they're not done. I'm sure that one probably would fall off if I pulled it too hard. I mean, they don't seem super soft, so I don't know what that's about. And other lemon trees doing fine. There we go. Bay laurel looking really good. Baby figs also very happy. I did clean out my greenhouse right before I left and planted out as much as I could. So I did empty out my potatoes and I put in these beans instead in this planter because I didn't have another spot for them. There's an amaranth, and I feel like we've got some other things in there like alyssum, and maybe I put some lemon balm in there. So yeah, this is a total shambles. See the mad dash to get things planted before I went out of town. I thought they would fare better in the ground than they would in here because I didn't ask my family for watering. And, not that they couldn't, but I just thought that it would be better this way. And it was supposed to rain every day, and so between the irrigation and the raining, I thought it would be fine. See these guys, my witch hazel, my edgeworthia looking good, yuzu, maple, Easter lily, celery. And yeah, everything did fine. I need to come back and clip my chamomile, pine berries, and asparagus, and some squirrel planted corn. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't rain as much as I thought it was going to because we'd had 3 weeks of nonstop rain. Almost nonstop rain. And yeah, it was not very much and very hot. I think I keep trying to sort of get at that. And so everything looked a little bedraggled when I got back. So my passion fruit, cranberry viburnum there, mango pawpaw, got a little blackberry there. The strawberries are still producing. I put them in these little jewelry bags because we won't get any otherwise. I don't mind sharing with wildlife, but they don't share with me. So yeah, we still lose some that way. Service berry, blackberry, but at least this way we get some. The comfrey that needs to be cut down. Echinacea, blackberry. See, some things just from all of the rain are super huge, out of control. The black jewel raspberry, which is growing through all of the things here. I was meant to tie it up before I left. Kiwi, hardy kiwi, is going crazy. This one is much happier than the one at the other end. The rhubarb got a little crispy in the offing. Peach also had a little bit of dieback, a lot of growth and then dieback. I'll come around to the other ones. That blueberry is done fruiting. Here's one of the sad things was that I didn't ask my husband to tie in any of the tomatoes, and they're just everywhere. I actually cut a whole lot off yesterday. Did a lot of pruning, and like this little guy, once the fruit is done, I'll trim that. So that'll be done soon. I do have some beans and basil and wormwood, and this poor little ground cherry was kind of smothered in between the tomatoes, and so it got real leggy. Might have to try and give it a little bit of a haircut too. So black cherries, which I did redirect some on top of the trellis yesterday, but of course, it sort of is doing what it wants now. And these are the green zebras, and then the black crims, which some have already ripened up. We've got a few of those, and these are, the texture and the flavor of those is just amazing. I'm so happy, and they're very, very prolific. They grow well here, so it's a good pick for the area. Did put in a little watermelon. That's a sugar baby watermelon there. So the beans, see, one of them died off there. Cabbage still isn't quite done, or it's probably just going to be very small, but I haven't needed it yet. Looks like Brussels sprouts are never going to finish. Did put in okra. This shiso that I've yet to harvest, I keep forgetting, which I probably need to come and just cut some to dry. Lettuce leaf basil. Do have a queen lime blush zinnia about to open. Tulsi. Roses. Tropicana rose. And those are going for hips over here. Poppies. I've finally gotten some poppies to flower, but when I tell you, they last a day, if even. Between the wind and the rain, the poppies just lose their petals immediately. So all of the battles I've been fighting to try and get poppies, and they're beautiful for the whole day that they're there, but they're there for a day. So probably not worth as much time as I spent on it this year trying to get them to go. Kale is obviously still not suffering, doing great. The yarrow's gone over a little bit. Do have a spaghetti squash volunteer. I took about 5 or 6 off right before I left, and so it's all along there. I let it grow along the wall. My rhubarb Brussels sprout, which was the last one in the ground. There is a lavender under there. I need to come back and pick some poblano peppers. We had a wind and rain, like that got blown over, so I just pulled it up yesterday and tied it up. because, you know, it flops over for a couple days, it starts growing up, so it's probably going to be all wonky, but, you know, it's fine. That is a Hungarian paprika. Peppers right there. I realize I'm saying peppers, because paprika is apparently the word for pepper in Hungarian. Banana peppers right there. Ashe County pimentos. The cucumbers, this is a silver slicer cucumber, is absolutely prolific. The beans are just starting to go. I really just got those in not that long ago. See now? Looks like we got some rot happening here. Sunburn. That's unfortunate. I'll have to take that in. Peppers are edible at any stage, so it's not like it's not usable. But that's what happens. I think those are both purple beauties right there. And this Murasaki pepper, also very prolific, kind of like the shishito. Lots of little peppers. That's just gone crazy. Some more beans there. So those are like all my pole beans. Blauhilde, rattlesnake, Chinese yardlong. So yeah. Cucumbers, they get massive really fast, and they've been just all over the place. Another poblano, banana pepper, got an artichoke hanging on back there, hollyhock. And now this is the cleaned up version. I came through and did stake things up and did a lot of pruning yesterday, pulled some things out. So ground cherry back there. Here's my Honeycrisp apple. They got split in half during Helene. Let's see. And from back here, if you can see any of these tomatoes, this one was already getting black spot fungus. And that's really from it being so humid and hot and not having enough airflow. And I almost pulled the whole plant out, but I was like, well, I'll just make it naked and let it ripen the fruit, and then we'll pull it out. The Romanesco broccoli is almost done. Gosh, I know this is going to be so much road noise. Roselle artichokes. Let me finish up because sounds like washing a car across the street. So yeah, all of my tomatoes, the bush determinate tomatoes, Roma, San Marzano, black plum are starting to finish. This is probably the closest I've ever come to being able to finish up brassicas this year. So I have had, like, this is the Romanesco. So it's starting to sprout. It's not a tight little head, but we'll get something. And same over here. Cauliflower, tiny little head, and we'll let that go for a couple of days. But we had a longer than normal spring, I would say. It normally gets right to hot. This was, poor thing, just completely, it's sprawling, it's everywhere. Like it's huge. But another product of our sort of weird weather. These were a long time going. These were a long time finishing up. So, you know, birdhouse gourd that I should have put on the big trellis. And those guys that I thought I mislabeled those, either that or I had castor beans in the pod and then they didn't sprout, and so I put something else in them, and then the castor beans sprouted because those were supposed to be up front. And I hadn't planted any in the round that I remember. But, you know, I like to surprise myself sometimes. But yeah, so brassica's finally finishing up, and I probably should have pulled them out by now, given that it's July, to make way for other things, but they're so close. And I have had, like, I made broccoli soup with my broccoli, and I did harvest some yesterday, and that is a little table squash. I probably need to cut off because it's been there for a minute. Got a bigger one. And that guy, I don't know what kind of squash. These are all squash, obviously. We're just going to go with that. It's It's obvious when they start finishing up with the fruits. So I come back and get some ground cherries here. But yeah, poppies all done. I probably could cut the heads off and maybe they would give me another, but I feel like everything's trying to finish and all the poppies that I put out, so I'm thinking maybe not. This was all borage. It had all finished up, so I pulled it all out. There's other ones that are popping up here. So the squash escaped the bed and borage, so it's all out in the yard now. So I have a little pumpkin here, and there's a nice size table squash back there. I need to come back and get, but it's grown all the way out there and it's coming back around, which is kind of wild, not the direction I thought it was going to go. Usually they all grow that way. A giant crookneck squash that I forgot to get yesterday, so I'll come back for that because tomorrow it'll be a gourd. So it looks like that one's a butternut. I do still have carrots in here hiding, and yeah, fig tree does have some figs on it. Hardy kiwi hanging out back here, and this is the one that was attached to the fence that I had to cut back down to the stump basically, and so that's regrown from a nub. The blackberries, that was one thing I forgot to stake up yesterday. We only have a handful of fruit happening there. Pawpaw. Alright, the road noise is getting real bad. Let me speed run through here. Raspberries, elderberry, quince, honeyberry, pink lady apple. Yeah, she's a little bit dried out. I did water these guys real good the other day too. This is a nectarine, Suncoast nectarine. Other quince, that's the Crimea. And the other one is called Coshing. Blueberries there, almost done. The pink lemonade didn't give me a whole lot. Other honeyberry and volunteer peach. And I think that is everything.